hear it for multi-time champion Samoa Joe. Amazing.
Good to see everybody.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you coming out to Terrificon. Have you been having a good time?
I've been having a great time. It's a funny convention, man. It's a lot of cool stuff. So it's been a good time on the video.
What's it been like? Obviously you've been doing this for a while, but coming to conventions like this and meeting the fans. Anyone ever bring you something cool? Or
I've gotten a lot of cool artwork. That's the good thing about Comic Cons is that there's always like a lot of burgeoning artists, so they're always bringing up like really cool drawings or pictures. And I've seen a lot. Like I've seen a lot of cool ones. So I mean, that's kind of the main thing. I've seen some really great like art pieces and sculptures and custom figures. It gets a little overwhelming, man. You're like, whoa, like people really take some time out of their day and do this stuff, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's sick. It's a lot of work, and people are very, very talented out here.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of creativity.
That's awesome, man. So basically, what we're gonna do, we'll ask you guys, you a few questions, and then we'll let some fans ask questions at the end too, and
all right.
We'll give them plenty of time to do that as well. So you've been wrestling for a while, all the way from Ring of Honor and NXT, WWE, and of course AEW. When you first were getting started, were you always a fan growing up, or were you new to the business? Or?
I think I was a mild fan growing up, mainly because it was one of the few things that like everybody in my family watched all together. We all had different sports teams, we all had different likes and wants, but like pro wrestling was kind of like the universal thing. We would all kind of sit around, and that would be the thing we'd watch together. So I mean, that's kind of like the earliest memory for me. You know, my father was a massive fan, and but if you would have asked that Samoa Joe if he had any ambitions or would be a pro wrestler today, it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Right, because you were like, I guess doing martial arts and things like that.
Yeah, martial arts. And not even that. Like, you know, I worked in my parents' Polynesian dance troupe, so you know, just performing and all that stuff. You know, I thought I'd probably be doing that, being a fire knife dancer for the majority of my life. And you know, my brother is, and he still runs the show to this day. So kudos on that career path. But I took a slightly different route, and it's been awesome.
That's so cool. I like that your family does all that tradition stuff.
Yeah, and it helped out when I got into pro wrestling, because you know, it's basically it's gig work. You know, you show up, you do a show, you get paid afterwards, and that's a hard pitch to the average everyday family. You know, it's hard to tell your dad that you're kind of doing stuff like that. But you know, my dad got it. He's like, you know, did you do the gig? Yeah. Did you get paid? Yeah. All right. Well, let me take my cut. And good job.
Yeah, there you go.
So I mean, it worked out.
Usually they're done with that after you leave the show and you get home.
Yeah. No, he still took his cut. So it was you know.
Did you have like someone in like a friend or something that was involved in pro wrestling, or?
I had zero friends who were involved in pro wrestling. The only person I knew growing up was actually another guy, a Samoan guy named Tao, who was a local independent wrestler in California. And he was good friends with my father, and, you know, he used to invite us out to the matches. And of course, independent matches, especially in the early 80s, were really bloody, like violent affairs. And it was weird for my first time being in this small Knights of Columbus Hall in Pacoima, California, and you know, this big Samoan guy taking out a fork and butchering some other dude's forehead, and it was like, you know, I'm 10, you know, it's like, whoa, you know, and then my dad's like, we're gonna go hang out with that guy afterwards. So that was my earliest kind of introduction to the actual business and seeing it live. And then of course, later on you go to WWE shows and check all that out and see it on a little bit grander scale. But yeah, that was the only experience that I had with it as a youth.
Do you think that was a good influence or bad influence?
I don't know. You think it would have scared me away, but apparently it must have ticked some box on my head, because here I am.
Well, that's awesome, because I remember specifically like up here in the Northeast, when ROH first started, you were one of the biggest people to come out of there right away. Was it something where you kind of knew that was going to be like in a good direction when you started working with them? Or?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think what people forget about that era is, WCW had just closed down. ECW was struggling, if not, almost dead at the time. And, the Northeast has always had a rich history of pro wrestling. There's always been a dominant pro wrestling scene, whether it be independent or on a grander scale. And ROH came around at a time when there was a large fan base that just didn't have a home. And, they made their home with us. And, week after week, month after month, this little engine that kept building and building and building. And, it's still surviving and thriving today. So, it was an awesome to be a part of that on the ground level.
Did it feel cool to have when Tony bought it recently, seeing that, knowing that it'll be in at least pretty good hands?
I'll tell you the biggest thing that I liked about Tony buying it was that I knew that the legacy and the footage and all that work that, so many of us did earlier on in our careers is going to be preserved and is going to be, available to the public for now until forever. Those rare times that DVD only time that ROH existed, not a lot of people have seen those DVDs, but through the advent of streaming and now, Tony trying to get, things going for ROH and the library and the catalog out there. Yeah. It's just it's reassurance that like all our hard work will stay preserved and stay out there for people to see.
Are you? I honestly was a big fan in ROH back in the day. How does it feel to see yourself on like some of the earlier tapes as compared to where you are now? Like, is it cool? Are you like excited for all the old stuff to get out there with like almost the fan cam type view?
I am. I'm excited for a lot of people to see where many of their favorite superstars today came from. Yeah. I'm excited for people to kind of see the very punk rock energy that was an ROH show, the rabid fan base that followed us everywhere. It's a rare snapshot in time in pro wrestling when it's really hard to find that in other promotions now. And ROH is one of those special times where we had these awesome shows, we had this awesome talent that later went on to take over the industry, and to look back and see that it started there is really cool.
That's really cool. How about the fact that you still get to work with a lot of the people that you started at that level with? Like, obviously at All In, you had a huge match with Punk, which was good at. You had amazing matches in Ring of Honor. I don't even know how it would feel to be on that stage after being, some of the awesome places Ring of Honor took place, even in Manhattan, stuff like that, where it's still not anywhere near the scale of that. Yep. How did it feel to be standing there with someone that you worked with that long ago?
Hey, I tell people all the time whenever people ask me, is it crazy that, all these guys from ROH are still working and doing these big shows and these big matches with them today? And no, not at all. Like, I knew these guys were great then. Like, I knew they were the best in the world then. And the industry knew too, it just took us, having to go out there and do the work to convince everybody. And so when I see an AJ Styles, when I see a CM Punk, when I wrestle a Bryan Danielson on a grander stage and, no matter where it is absolutely no surprise to me because I knew those men would be doing that regardless if I was in that ring or not.
That's awesome. It's good I think one of my favorite things about wrestling is when you see someone like yourself that's been in it for a few years when you first started and watching your career go and being like, oh, that's my guy. Like, that really happened with a bunch of the big stars, including yourself. I think that's one of the coolest things. It's like finding a band when you're the only one that's heard them. Yeah. And then seeing them play like opening for Metallica or something like that.
And you're super hip and too cool for everybody.
It is. I was there
they're
first.
They're not down with your band. I was there first, dude. You're on the bandwagon. Loser.
Hey, you were really there first. You were there growing up.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice, man. We had it.
So, you've had a lot of awesome stuff happen in your career. What was it like working back then in like TNA and stuff like that? I felt like ROH and that like really grew you as a known name and getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Like, and you'll find this kind of as a rolling theme throughout my entire career. I've been fortunate enough, and it's a special time, and it's not many people get to do this, to be on like the ground floor of building brands as they start. So it started in ROH, creating something out of, essentially taking the best guys in the Northeast that just weren't getting opportunities and creating something there. And then we go to TNA, where now, we got more talent from the South, from the North, from the West, from everywhere, kind of converging on a promotion and building out, a brand new competitor in the field, which was like awesome. And, it continues on even past this. I'm sure you got questions in there, so I don't want to cut you off. But, but yeah, that's always something I've been fortunate. And I say fortunate because those are special times in companies. Being there for the building is such an awesome time to be there, because, your work directly affects and directly, the success is seen. If you don't put together good matches and it doesn't work, you feel it in your pocketbook because the fans just don't show up. And, we've been fortunate enough that when it came to ROH, when it came to TNA, when it came to NXT, I was able to help, along with other great talent, just build out these new brands and bring new things to the world of professional wrestling. And I'm eternally thankful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's really some cool stuff that you even did when you got up to WWE. I really love the stuff with AJ Styles and you calling out his wife and stuff like that.
Bless her. And the only way I could is because, Wendy has never taken me seriously ever in our life. So she knew she was safe.
Do you feel as though a lot of people are intimidated, like talking to you, you see them? Like, I feel like a lot of people will run up to pro wrestlers and say hi, which is like, amazing. But like, I feel like you have this aura. Even going to do this interview today, I was like, well, I hope Joe's going to be like cool with me. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I have a long-standing rule. I only hit like the 5th fan that comes up to me.
All right, that's fair, right?
Like I give you 4, and then number 5, like and I try to do it so everybody sees it. So like, there's not a 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my big thing. So keep a tally when you're around me. If you're number 3, you're cool. You're not so sure. Well, hey, let's gamble. Let's play. All right, that's cool.
My 7-year-old was like, "Do you have to sit at a table to interview Samoa Joe?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What if he throws you through the table?" And I was like, "I really hope that doesn't happen."
Well, we were gonna have you originally sit on my lap, but that was a little much. So
it was much better.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, I'm always open to meet fans and interact with them. Cool. I do have a funny story though, and this serves as a bit of a warning. And I don't have to worry about this now. My sons are older, but I remember a time where when fans come up to me, and I appreciate this, and I'm glad they do because I understand where it comes from, but I'm rarely pointed out as, "Hey, there's Samoa Joe." It's usually something to the effect like, "Samoa Joe." Like, it's just like, or some other expletive. "Oh, get the F out of here. I can't believe I'm effing looking at you right now. This is so effing crazy." And then I'm like, "Hey, awesome. Those are my 5 and 6-year-old sons over there. Hey, can we just like knock down just a couple of the hey, I'm so effing sorry, dude. I feel like such an effing a-hole. I can't believe I'm effing. I can't effing stop. What is wrong with me?" This is an actual interaction that I've had 3 times in a mall. So I will say this: I am always happy to say hi to you. Just kind of pull in those middle adjectives if you can when we do meet, especially if I'm around little ones, because my sons have learned some very colorful language when it comes to meeting me in public. So, for those guys, no thank you, but
it must be wild, man. Hey, we're in New England right now.
Yep.
Something really cool about your particular career is that Lowell's been super kind to you.
Yeah, I win championships in Lowell, Massachusetts. I don't know what it is, boy. Me and Lowell, it's a tough town filled with tough people, and by hook or by crook, and this is not planned at all. I have no idea why this happens. Yeah. Every time I step into Lowell, I win a world championship. It's wild. House shows, like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Pay-per-views, like, I won the belt from Kurt and TNA, an NXT house show in Lowell. I won the belt off of Finn Balor for NXT, and we now I'm fully committed to keeping the great myth of Lowell, Massachusetts alive in the Samoa Joe canon.
How often you ask them to bring AEW to Lowell?
All the time, boy, and like, I'm out of hand. I'm walking the streets like I can beat up anybody. I'm like, yo, test me in Lowell, watch what happens to me.
I rented the Songus Arena. If you want to run a Dynamite here, we can just do it.
Hey, listen, if we're in Lowell, we can run it. That's all I know. It always works out.
That's awesome. We're grateful to have that up here. And That was actually really crazy. I can't think of many non-televised shows lately where someone has won a title like that. Was that wild for you? Like, how does that even, how do you feel about that as how it's presented? I mean, it definitely sells tickets.
No, I thought it was one of the most brilliant things that we did. When you're building a new brand and an imprint like we were in NXT, a major thing is we want people to come to our live events. We were running live events around the nation, and if you showed up to an NXT live event that a world title could change hands, I mean, it just makes that event so much more exciting, so much more fan interactive, so much more better that, potentially on one night, any given Sunday, you could see something amazing happen. And, that was kind of the thought process behind it. And, I'm so glad that we did it that way.
I love it. That's a great idea. I mean, I think a few years ago, actually, like The Rock showed up at a house show one time.
It's stuff like that.
Yeah. People really lose their mind, and
it makes a difference,
And as a fan, we love that too. So we appreciate that. I think that was one of my favorite parts about AEW is, at least when it started, everyone was very much on the same level of anyone could beat anybody any night. And
then I showed up, and man, did I mess up that curve.
I was like,
I win a lot, guys. Let me tell you, I do not lose. A lot of them do. They're 50-50 boys, not me.
You got that Thanos power level right there.
Yeah, what's up. Come on.
People know. They feel that. So, actually, speaking of that stuff, you've had a lot of cool Hollywood or such type things happening. I actually want to start with you got to play King Shark in Justice. Suicide Squad takes out the Justice League there.
Yeah, it was a blast. Absolutely fun project. Thing about WB, especially when it comes to DC properties, like they put their best voice people on there, and even in the process, just having fun with the character, giving it a bit of a different interpretation, and definitely making it a little bit more comedically sound was a blast. And I love the project. I know the game did what the game did, but I think when you look at the performances up and down, I'm so proud of what we accomplished. And man, it was just like I said, it was a blast of a project to be a part of for like upwards of I think 6 years.
Oh wow, you worked on it for 6 years.
Yeah, but hey, it was a fun 6. I'll take it again.
That's awesome. How long do you end up in the studio when you're recording stuff like that?
It varies. I mean, like sometimes you'll have a shorter recording session, maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then if there's a ADR or some other complicated elements and stuff, it can get a little bit longer. But it's just consistent as they make changes and tweaks and add scenes and take away scenes. You're in the studio constantly adjusting the script. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. You also got to play one of the most iconic video game characters of all time with Sweet Tooth. In my opinion, I mean, Twisted Metal was my jam, and pretty much a lot of people's growing up. Did you play Twisted Metal when you were?
Yes, and I think anybody who owned a PlayStation can pretty much attest to that, because and I tell people all the time, like, when you bought a PlayStation, there was 2 games, like there was a lot of options. It was Twisted Metal, I think Warhawk,
Warhawk,
yeah. And so I know when I was initially approached for the project, a friend of mine, Carter Swan, he goes, "Hey man, what's up? I haven't talked to you." I was like, "Hey dude, what's up?" He goes, "We're working on a new show. It's with Sony." I said, "Oh, cool." He goes, "Hey, you remember Twisted Metal?" And of course I remember Twisted Metal. Who doesn't remember Twisted Metal? I go, "Yeah, so what about it?" He goes, "Well, I want you to play a part in there." I said, "Okay, cool. What is it?" He goes, "The Clown." I was like, "Oh, sweet. I'm in." And he goes, "All right, cool." So, we did a quick little audition, and lo and behold, I'm in an ice cream truck speeding down the highway and jumping through a billboard. So
that's so cool. As an actor, that's got to be the dream right there.
It was for me. I love video games, man. It's something that has been a big part of my life. Something that's kept me sane a lot of times out on the road. And cool. From being on the couch playing Twisted Metal couch co-op with all your buddies, all the trash talk, all the stuff, and and having a pretty good understanding of the character, playing all the different incarnations of Sweet Tooth. For me as a video game player, it was like, damn, I got a chance to get this right or have everybody I know hate me. So it was like, I put some pressure on me. So I mean, I think so far we've got it right, I hope. And I look forward to season 2 and for everybody seeing what we got in store.
Are you guys excited for season 2? Yeah. That's good stuff, man. That's awesome. So just a couple other questions about some stuff, and then we'll let some fans ask questions too. Number one is, I don't even know how to ask this question properly, but you have one of the coolest moves I've seen, and it's almost not doing a move. It's just walking the hell away and let people just die. Is that something? Are you like? Do you feel like you were like the innovator of doing that? Like, it's nice. I mean, you probably don't want to say that.
No, I don't, because I think anybody who's seen anything tumble at them at a very high speed with any amount of warning has done the same. I can't really like.
Everyone's probably thought.
Yeah. It's like no. What I tell people though was it kind of started out as a joke where guys that I know if they were going to crossbody and I'd warn them. I wouldn't be mean about it. I'd say, hey, listen, I'm going to move out of the way. And they always like, you're just going to move out. I'll move out of the way. Okay. And then they'd hear the reaction. They'd be like, wow, that was pretty cool. I guess that worked. And then they'd see what I did and they'd be like, you're an asshole. So it started out as that. And then lo and behold, people, I guess, dug it. So, it's kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, no, I personally love that. And it's sometimes out of nowhere, which is really cool. Like, you get people.
That's the best way. Yeah. Listen, if you think I'm not still surprising people, you're out of your mind.
Oh, that's awesome. And then recently you beat MJF to become AEW champion, which is like so huge.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be able to kind of get up to that point in AEW as well? I mean, that's like, obviously the top of the world, like in the current promotion.
Yeah, no, fantastic. It felt great. I mean, it was a very, very fun lead up to, and a reign afterwards. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I've really enjoyed and kind of put a feather in my cap about, because AEW is such tremendous talent up and down that roster, and to carry the brand for that type of a company, well, that's always a good honor.
Yeah, I really feel like there's almost dozens of people that could be world champion in AEW. Mm-hmm. And I do think the lineage of having Samoa Joe's name on that list is so huge. So congratulations, man. I appreciate that. Something that really cool happened was the guy that runs this convention was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about getting Samoa Joe to come in. I was like, oh man, he's awesome. He's one of my favorites ever. And then you won the title. And I was like, let's go. I was like, if you can hold it till August, that'd be sick.
Yep.
But I
didn't
can't
quite get there.
Yeah,
but,
not quite, but no 600-day title reign in AEW yet.
Yeah, we keep it active.
Yeah, that's great. I know people are loving Swerve, and there's a lot of really good top guys there. I guess one other thing I wanted to ask you about was, are you aware of how big like the Steinermaath promo got?
Because, absolutely. Yeah. I knew it was going to be huge when I sat there and watched it being done live. There's just certain things that are going to be gold. And I am not ignorant to it at all. It's one of the funniest things I got to witness, especially you saw that whole day, and then all the other outtakes and stuff. Yeah. Takes on a very, very even sillier, crazier meaning. But yeah, no, Scott for all his windfalls, when it comes down to time to make something that's going to make people entertain and laugh, that brain will really come up with some great mathematics to help you through. Absolutely amazing that he was even able to keep track of that. I don't even know. I think he's amazed too. Do some people have some questions for Joe? Anyone want to come up and do some? We have a microphone over here. If you want to very organized walk up to it and not barrel each other over. Hey, so what's your name?
Bill.
Hi, Bill. Do you have a question for Joe?
First off, I'm number one, thank God.
Yeah.
My biggest question is...
I think you might have bumped the little button on there. They're coming over there. He was saying, what's your favorite company that you've worked for so far?
Favorite company I've worked for so far? I've been asked this a few times. you know, I've had super positive experiences in every company I've worked for. So It's like I don't have probably a lot of the hardship stories a lot of other wrestlers do as far as dealing with companies. You know, if I was really a gun against my head, I really got to come up with the answer. You know, ROH, but it was only because, you know, I was so hands-on in everything that there was there and in the building, and that, you know, if I didn't draw, you know, the company was pretty much screwed, you know, or if we didn't draw, the company was pretty much screwed. So it was a lot more kind of pressure on us. You know, we were very much responsible for every bit of success that we had to garner out there. So, I mean, just from that environment and that aspect and being young and, you know, traveling, like I said, the punk rock atmosphere of the ROH crowd. Yeah, that's something I really look back on and enjoy. Favorite opponent? I mean, AJ Styles, just the guy that, you know, any day of the week, blindfolded, and twice on Tuesday, we can get down and make it happen.
They're bringing up another mic for them over there. That's cool. Is there anyone you haven't got to face in AEW yet that you really want to?
Ooh, I mean, several dudes. You know, we got, you know, Kenny Omega coming back. We got Will Ospreay. Yeah, the list really goes on and on, you know, so, you know, there's a lot of matchups that are fresh that haven't been had yet, but those two, you know, definitely jump to the top of the list.
I know they probably can't say too much particular things, but have you heard of, is Kenny doing okay right now? Like,
I don't have any intimate knowledge of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, he's the type of guy that always heals far before his due date, and I know that he's doing his best to make his progress get back as soon as possible.
The fans are definitely pulling for Kenny. A big reason. Is the mic working okay over there, bud? Say hi.
Hi.
All right, what's your name, bro?
My name's Mike.
Mike, you have a question for Joe?
Yeah. When you wrestled Kurt Angle at TNA Lockdown, was the beginning of that match a shoot to see who could get the best of who? Because it kind of looked like it was. Like grappling wise.
I wouldn't say it was a shoot. It was more me messing with Kurt's natural instincts as a alpha predator when it comes to wrestling. So it's like there's just got like, you know, and Kurt has this quality. Guys like Brock have this quality. You know, sometimes if you try to switch, you know, standing switch them on the ground or try to pull them, drag them down, just that instinct kicks in the back and they're back into it. Now you're in a little bit of a tussle. So, yeah, which is nothing new. I mean, I'm something I always like to do because, you know, playing with the Bears is fun to me. So yeah,
Thank you.
That's basically the gist of it.
Poke the bear. I think people ought to think that in your direction, actually. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, trust me, I'm just as much of an antagonist as I am a protagonist.
What's your name, man?
Hi, I'm Lou.
Hi, do you have a question for Joe?
Yeah, Joe, just a Twisted Metal question. You're already Sweet Tooth. Why not the voice?
I think because at the time they didn't know that I actually did any type of voice acting, which is not uncommon. You know, I think the other thing that people don't understand is like the Twisted Metal deal came together in like 4 days. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't like a long process. It was like, hey, we're going into production soon, and you know there was an interview and stuff like that. And then I remember I got on the set the first day with Anthony, and Anthony's like, oh man, this guy could actually act. You know, it was cool. But I will say this, you know, we set out with the intention of presenting the best Sweet Tooth possible. Yeah. And it was my mission too. You know, like I like it was important to me that we got this right. Like it couldn't be wrong. Right. Lord knows we've seen enough wrong video game adaptions as of late. So, and like when I saw the combo package, when I saw Will's, you know, first pass with the audio, that was Sweet Tooth. You know what I mean? And to me, that will always take precedence over anything else, is that we put out the best Sweet Tooth possible. And I really think we're doing a hell of a job now together.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
That's awesome. What's your name, man?
Fernando.
What's your
Joe,
question?
Sorry, Joe, out of all the companies you've been working with, what is your favorite walkaway?
My favorite walkaway?
Of all time.
There's a lot, man. There's a series, you know, I think through my TNA days where I never told Christopher Daniels and he fell for every one. And,
oh my God.
And listen, I love Chris, and that was the only reason that I did it, is because, you know, you have to be pretty close to a guy to keep screwing him over like that. Yeah, I mean, anybody like that. And, Yeah, it's tough to call because, there's ones that, hey, they may have been in there. There's other ones where they just kind of were spur of the moment. So, yeah, I think if you search for like 2006, 2007, you'll find a few in there. You can tell by Chris's face he wasn't too happy.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks.
Hey, what's your name, man?
Foster.
Foster. What's your question?
So your current team with Hook and Shibata, where did the idea come from, and like what was your reaction when it was first pitched to you?
It was kind of, just talking with Hook and knowing Shibata and seeing these two talents. I wanted to do something different with them. I wanted to, be able to, for the world to see a little bit more of both of their personalities. And so, I sat there and I, sat with Tony. We kind of figured out, this would be kind of a good grouping of us three. And I think within the past few weeks, we've been seeing a lot more of their personality and a lot more what they're capable of. So that was really how it all came together.
Did you know Hook growing up?
I did. Well, and I won't say intimately, obviously, he came out with Taz and, we'd see him at shows and, it took somebody going, dude, that's Taz. I go, Taz is boy in the league? Yeah. And, now he's a grown man, which makes you feel great. Yeah, and I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for Taz. He's always been a guy that's, been a big advocate for me and just a generally great dude. Yeah. So, any chance that I get to kind of give back and help out young talent, especially guys that are, connected to people I care about, and I always relish that opportunity.
I super love your match with Hook. I know you've done a couple, but the, just the, showing his heart and type of thing, and hopefully looking forward to seeing that again one day.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there on the horizon.
So, what's your name, man?
Matthew.
What's your question?
So, if you could only give one piece of advice for someone who wants to get into the industry, what would it be?
I'd give you a lot more than one. I think the big one is just shut up and listen. I think a lot of guys come into, their initial training. They have a lot of ideas of what it should be. I've watched tons of documentaries. I've seen this and I know what to expect. And you don't, you really got to go in there with a super open mind. You have to go in there willing to make adjustments on the fly. And that's what I tell people. Shut your mouth, watch the footwork. And, just learn as much as you can before you ask a question. Cool.
Thank you.
Do you think being part of this, you still feel like the public, they might have an idea? I don't want to get into too much.
No. I think the public has seen a tremendous amount. And I think, like anything, you can do, there's been documentaries about basketball, football, and have, shown the behind the scenes. But, until you're really in those situations, until you're really in the industry, in the ring, working with, hopefully a skilled trainer.
Yeah.
You never do quite understand what the demands are, both physically and psychologically. Oh, so I tell people, I go, really definitely come in with an open mind and don't come in with like a preconception of what you think this is going to be. Because I can tell you right now, there has been nobody I've met in all my many years of both being in this business and training that anybody's been able to actually know what the business is like until they're actually in it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hi, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Mark. I have two questions, just very quickly. Sure. It seemed like WWE definitely by 2018, if not a little earlier, it seemed like they missed a natural opportunity to do a program with you and Cena. I was waiting for it. I know Kevin Owens got a first call up out of the NXT and they did a thing and maybe they wanted some separation from the 2015, their little program. But definitely by 2018, I would have seen that would have been a natural WrestleMania match with that.
It's tough to say, throughout my tenure in WWE, John was in and out working on various projects, obviously making his next steps in his career and life. And, things just sometimes don't line up, like timing. I'm over here working with these guys in this program. And, I think that's just the biggest thing. It was a timing issue, both, or, maybe I wasn't around and he was, maybe he was around, I wasn't. It was just, it just never really worked out.
True. Gotcha. My other question is, 2025, Tony Khan comes to you, gives you carte blanche, not a one-off, but a program. You book it, what would you want to do?
Spoiler.
It's a tough answer because I'm only interested in doing the matchups that the fans want to see. Like I have zero interest in doing a vanity match of somebody who's my dream opponent because I don't do this for me. I'm not doing this to pad my resume, to add to my portfolio. I do this for the fans to want to come and watch it. So inevitably that question at this point in my career, in my life, is left in your hands. You know, what match do you want to see? Because that's what I'm interested in doing. I really have zero interest in doing a match with somebody just because they're skilled or that I think it could be a great match. No, at this point, with what time that I have left in my career, I want to dedicate that time to what fans want, not what I want.
Is there someone you would want to see him face?
That's a tough one. Last year, the match with Paul.
Okay.
I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, me too.
One more time on a big stage.
Yeah.
So I think that's a memory you'll have forever.
Sure, absolutely. For several reasons. Man, so much stuff to remember that night. You would not believe.
I'll ask you one question, and it's not going to be a difficult one. Did you ever think you would see him go back to WWE like that? Or do you think it was...
Yeah, I mean, what seems outlandish to a lot of you, you know, to me, like, listen, people said I would never be in WWE. You know, people said that, you know, what I've learned in the grand business of professional wrestling is to never say never is the most true thing ever. You know, like, I didn't mean for that to rhyme, dog. I'll put that on a shirt.
That's all right. Yeah.
Say never. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I just saw you like cashing in on your head right there.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that.
Me too. He's annoying. I'd kick this shit.
Hi, what's your name, man?
My name is Dustin. I actually have a question about your portfolio and your resume, to be honest with you. What is, of your entire career, the favorite, not match, but storyline?
Storyline? You know, I obviously, and I think this is more because of, you know, fans seem to bring it up. You know, I love the stuff that we did in WWE with AJ, and it was just people who had fun with it, and so did we, definitely. You know, I enjoyed my feuds with Brock. They were always fun, mainly because, you know, there's nothing he loves better than somebody in his face trying to fight him all the time, which tells you a lot about him. In an AEW, you know, the stuff with Darby, I mean, obviously he's been a blast. You know, that kid's a psycho in every sense of the word. And, you know, it's always fun to get down and get in there with him, the stuff with Hook. And, you know, working with guys like Swerve, MJF, you know, these are all things that I've really, really enjoyed. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name on there?
My name's Negron. You do a lot of interviews where you talk about how you love wrestling due to the fact of the fans get to partake and enjoy. One of the huge things that you're adamant about is people not being a-holes, specifically at shows. So that being said, I was one of the a-holes at one of your shows. And I don't know if you remember, years ago, you did a program with Foley at Ring of Honor. And you guys were having an interview, and my dumbass front row kept screaming Roofy. So you guys were having your match, and everything was going through, and you guys ended up spilling on the outside, tumbling. And Mick Foley throws you directly into me. Front row smashes the railing into me and comes running at you with the chair shot, completely misses you, belts me with it, and screams, "There's your effing roofies now." Goes through. So, one of the greatest experiences of my
Dude,
life.
what a crazy coincidence that was, right?
Exactly.
My God. Everything was aimed at you?
Crazy.
Dude, that is weird, dude. That doesn't happen in wrestling, yeah. Coincidences.
Yeah, we got to put him in
coincidences, right, everybody?
Want to take him down, you know?
Man.
People say it's a gravitational pull from it. In all seriousness, I'd like to apologize. That was my younger years, but the fact that, you know, how interactive it is, good or bad, that it still is something that gives people memories.
Listen, you should not feel bad a lick, first off.
Okay.
I was a little immature. Sometimes when I'm immature, these coincidences just start happening. But it was Mick's fault. He was the senior guy at that, so just blame it all on him. Okay, cool. Apologies.
How's it going, man? Good to see you, Chris. Hi, so what's your name?
Philip.
Hi.
Just basic question about wrestling. So, on an average day, what's it like the next morning? Is it? Are you in pain from?
Oh, it sucks, dude. It's the worst.
And
no, this is what I tell people too, is that as you get going, your body becomes conditioned to the punishment that you're giving it, and like, I don't know, it's weird. Just starts shutting off neurons in the morning, just going, listen, they're gonna hurt. You don't need to hear about it. So, I mean, that's kind of it. So, like, for me, obviously, as you age, it gets a little tougher, it gets a little rougher. You creak more when you get up in the morning. But, I think a lot of guys from my era and especially now, post my era, are really embracing flexibility, really embracing a lot more aspects of physical fitness other than just, getting strong. Understanding that you need stability, you need, to take care of your joints just as much as you do your muscles. And though I think we've done a better job of it as of late, I mean, still there's just mornings you wake up and nothing works.
That's sort of the second half of my question. In the combination of performing, all the other stuff that you do, how do you fit training into it? How much training do you do a week, and how do you
roll into town? You find the local LA Fitness. You go either you charismatically get yourself a free day pass, or you begrudgingly pay a over exorbitant day pass and you work out. I mean, it's built into what we do. Especially when you're on the road 4 days a week. I mean, if you take 4 days out of your training regimen, it's going to destroy you. So it's important that whenever you get into a town for a show, during the day, we'll be at a gym and we'll be getting the workout in that we need to get out, and then we'll be off to the show and we'll do the show afterwards. So it's you just do it on the road, man.
Hey, how's it going, bud? Oh,
give it a tilt.
Help him out a little.
There you go.
What's your name, dude?
Jackson.
Excellent. You say hi to Joe?
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Jackson.
Do you have a question, bud?
So, I know you have had a lot of teams, but I want to know, what was your favorite team that you've teamed with?
Ooh, good question. I think it was in TNA with Magnus. Because, he was a guy, we were both at a point in our careers where a lot of people were like, oh, these guys, we can't do anything with them, whatever. And we put together a really cool tag team and we won the championship. And we got to get in front of a Wembley arena and rock that place. So it was always cool. And I was glad I got the opportunity to tag with them back then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, what's your name, man?
Peter.
Peter?
So you talked about how you don't want to have a vanity project as far as your wrestling career moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
In your acting career, what would your vanity project be? What role would you like to have if you could select any role at all?
Oh, dude, right now, I mean, I heard it's kind of in a rough shape, but whatever Warhammer project Cavill's doing, if they don't hire me, we're gonna have an issue, dog. From a personal fandom standpoint, I think that's gonna be an awesome thing, and I know he's very passionate about the lore in the universe. And for me, those kind of projects are attractive because there's people behind them that really care about the IP. And yeah, man, it would be dope to be up there with a chainsaw ripping people to shreds,
Yeah. And you'd be perfect for it.
I agree.
Thank you.
Hi, what's your name, man?
Eli.
You have a question?
Yeah. Two quick ones. One was, is there, Joe, a particular underrated match that you think, both of yours, that you think could deserves more praise, and also some you would recommend someone to watch, or see what some good wrestling is? You should check out this match. And then also, what kind of music do you like? I'm a big music fan, so I like that thing.
So first part, I mean, underrated matches. I don't know. I think I had a really cool match with Chris Sabin early in the X Division. I think it was X Cup that we were doing back then. That was pretty good. That I think a lot of people just haven't seen or kind of overlooked, I guess. And What was the second part of that?
Is there like another kind of match that you thought would be like, it's a good one to recommend people to check out?
Like
this is some cool wrestling.
Yeah, let me find a deep cut for you, something good. Okay, this is super obscure. If you can find this, there's a tag team match in Michinoku Pro. It's a Great Sasuke and Super Delphin versus the Kai and Tai Boys, and I think it's Men's Teo and Funaki, and it is, just frantic paced. 30 minutes of going back and forth. It's in a small gym in, I think, Sendai or something. And these guys are going all out, having some of the greatest false finishes and near falls. And there's beautiful leg work and all kinds of stuff. And it's a match that is, I know, not often seen by people. But if you can track it down, it's worth watching. And you can tell it's the right one because it's a super small, like everybody's sitting on the floor with tatami mats type of Michinoku gym. So like a super small house show, but it's one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen.
Cool. Thanks.
Hey, what's your name, man?
Hey, no problem. I was curious, do you have a trust me, this will work out moment that you're proud of, whether it's a match, a move, a promo, or a program?
Yeah, all in. Shit, I told everybody trust me. Yeah. And it worked out. So yeah, there's your answer.
That's good.
If that was a trust me moment, what didn't they trust about it?
No, I just had to reinforce the fact that at this point, everybody, y'all need to trust me.
Understood. NDA part.
Yes. All right. Just looking at.
Sign language? What, still second? What's going on over there?
No.
You want me to bunt? I don't.
No, I was just looking at what time we have left here. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming out today.
Cool.
And do you guys looking forward to seeing more of Samoa Joe in AEW? Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you for hanging out. Are you going to be here today and tomorrow doing some?
I'll be here for a little bit longer today, I believe, and then tomorrow I'm straight back to the set. We got to finish season 2. So.
Oh, you're working right now on it?
Yeah, we're working right now on Twisted Metal season 2. So.
Do you feel like they're going to be bringing in new characters and new cars?
I wish I could tell you. Man, let me just say this. We've seen some cool stuff the past couple of days, so
nice.
Can't wait for y'all to share it.
All right, guys, let's hear it for Samoa Joe. Thanks for attending. Thank you, Joe.
Hey everybody, this is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men. Listen, I'm a fan, I'm a fanboy, and when I need news, updates, and everything else on fandom, I go to Fandom Spotlite. Remember everybody, follow your fandom and to have fun.